Their message is clear: end human rights violations in Kashmir. These protesters took to the streets of Srinagar to demand the Indian government end what they describe as a brutal crackdown on their freedom.
1 million troops are stationed in Kashmir to ensure the occupation. Human rights violations are happening. Young boys are jailed, and the issue of Kashmir is not being solved.
Several protesters were injured in the confrontations with police. Many others were arrested. Indian-administered Kashmir has been at the center of a Muslim separatist movement against Hindu-dominated Indian rule for decades. Since 1989, nearly 70,000 people have been killed in the violence. Violent separatist leaders say the United Nations has done too little to prevent.
Today's strike and protest is to break the criminal silence maintained by the United Nations on the grave human rights violations happening in Kashmir. It's a blackout against them. The human rights organizations, the member countries who claim to spread peace in the world, are maintaining silence against the worst human rights violations which are happening in Kashmir.
Separatist groups are fighting for the Indian-administered portion of Kashmir to either become independent or merge with Pakistan. For the past year, the remote northern region was gripped by widespread protests following the killing of a prominent rebel commander. In the crackdown that followed, more than 100 protesters were killed, thousands were arrested, and hundreds were blinded by police who shot at civilians with iron pellets.
Pellets are being fired on Kashmiris. Bullets are being fired on Kashmiris. Wherever the oppression is spread in India, it's done to Kashmiris. We're fed up with India because human rights violations are happening every day here.
Security forces were able to break up the protests, and calm has returned to the streets of Srinagar. But Kashmir's separatists' fight for freedom is far from over. Imtiaz, Tyab, Al Jazeera.